Have you ever been puzzled by a trigger in Oracle that just won't fire? It can be incredibly frustrating, especially when you think you've set everything up correctly. If that sounds like you, stick around because today we're diving into a tricky Oracle trigger issue. I completely understand how annoying it is when your triggers don't behave as expected. You're not alone in this. Many users have faced similar issues, especially when working with multiple triggers in Oracle. Let's break down the specific situation you're facing. You have two before update triggers on a table in Oracle 12c. The first trigger updates one column, but you expect the second trigger to fire and update another column. However, it doesn't. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what's happening here? In Oracle, when a trigger modifies a column that is also being watched by another trigger, it can lead to unexpected behavior. This is especially true with before update triggers, where the order of execution matters. And don't go anywhere. I'll share a crucial insight at the end that could help you avoid this issue in the future. To address the issue with the triggers not firing as expected, the user should first understand how Oracle handles trigger execution. In Oracle, when a trigger modifies a column that has another trigger associated with it, the second trigger does not fire automatically. Next, the user can modify the first trigger to explicitly call the second trigger. This can be achieved by using a compound trigger, which allows multiple actions to be performed in a single trigger. After implementing the compound trigger, the user should test the update operation again. This time, both columns should be updated as expected. Lastly, the user should review the trigger logic to ensure it meets their requirements. They can also consider using logging or output statements to verify that each part of the trigger is executing as intended. Fun fact, did you know that triggers in Oracle can sometimes feel like a game of dominoes? One small push can set off a chain reaction, but if you don't set them up right, you might end up with a mess. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user clarifies that the behavior observed is consistent across Oracle versions. When the first trigger updates a column, it does not trigger the second trigger because the assignment within the first trigger is not considered a separate DML statement. To achieve the desired outcome, the user suggests repeating the assignment for the second column within the first trigger. For more complex scenarios, they recommend creating a procedure to handle necessary actions, ensuring it doesn't execute multiple times if both triggers fire. Now let's dive into a different answer from another user. This user suggests that the second trigger should be combined into the first trigger. They explain that the phrase update of COL2 in a trigger refers specifically to updates made through SQL statements like update or merge, and not to changes made within another trigger. Here's a pro tip. Always test your triggers in isolation first. This can help you understand their behavior before combining them in more complex scenarios. And there you have it. With this understanding, you can now troubleshoot your Oracle triggers more effectively. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips, and remember to keep experimenting with your triggers.